Hi, my name is Donnis Slusser Crane, and this is my sister,
Phyllis Maria Slusser.
and this is my dog, Minnie.
The rule of the roost.
She thinks she is so cute. Look at her, look at me. She is cute, look at her. But she knows fierce.
Calm down. Calm down. Yeah, when I got her, remember, she was only about, what, this long.
Yes.
And I couldn't believe it was a real dog. She was so tiny.
She was little. And she's got long white hair that covers most of her body. And when that gets long, it covers the black spots on her. When I cut that off, the hair, get it cut short, like for the summer, she looks like a Dalmatian, a teeny tiny Dalmatian.
Yeah, when I saw her this morning, I hadn't seen the dark hair, and then all of a sudden, it's like a different dog. She doesn't even look the same as she usually does.
We're going to keep her Minnie between us, because if we don't, she'll want to talk to you too. And she has a terrible, terrible, high-pitched voice.
Yes.
And trust me, you don't want to hear what she has to say.
That's so true.
So she is a spoiled, rotten dog. She's a good dog, but boy, she's the boss. Okay, what do you want to talk about, Phyllis?
Well, might start out with, we're both from Cheney, Kansas, raised in the 50s. My daddy's name was Max Eugene Slusser, and he's worked around, well known. I mean, the coffee shop knew him. Remember, every day, every morning, you'd have to go out over and have coffee. Mama's name was Martha June Mulder. She was from Max Creek, Missouri, so we grew up in Max Creek almost as much as we did here in Cheney. We were down there a lot. Yeah, great people. Miss them both.
We were both born in Wichita, Kansas, in the old Wichita hospital. The city was outgrowing that hospital, and the maternity ward was across catty corner at the corner of Douglas and Seneca, and it actually was on the second story of the building. The storefront was an Otasco store. So for years, Daddy has teased us kids about being born above an Otasco store.
Do you remember the day? I know you don't remember the day you were born. I don't remember the day I was born, but I was told a story I'd like to share, if it's okay. And that was, I was born and Mama woke up. I guess it must have been a hard delivery. Mama was little, wasn't she? Very
Tiny little girl.
Very small.
And she was 18.
Yeah, very small. And she woke up and she wanted to see her baby. So they brought me into her. Now remember, this is all hearsay. And they brought me into her. And I guess from what she has told me, I was the ugliest baby she'd ever seen. And she cried and cried. And she honestly thought that because Daddy wasn't there, she honestly thought that Dad had left because of how ugly I was. My head came to a point. Anyway, Daddy was with some friends down celebrating the birth of his daughter, which was me. So that was the story that I was told, that I was pretty ugly, and she thought that Daddy didn't want her or me, either one. Our dad's better than that. He would never do that. Do you remember any stories about your hospital stay?
No, and of course, I don't remember it all, but what I do know comes from my baby book, what Mom had written in my baby book. Mm-hmm. And she told me, or she wrote, that I was a fussy baby and she could not soothe me. And so Phyllis was just a year and 5 months old, 17 months old. And so Phyllis wanted to help Mama. So she put quarters in my mouth. Thanks a lot, by the way.
I thought they were just pennies. I didn't know if he was worth a quarter. No.
Mama wrote quarters.
Oh, okay. If Mama
in the baby book.
Then if Mama wrote it down, then I believe that.
Although you may not think I'm worth pennies. Mama did.
I honestly kind of remember that because I remember that you came home and was in a white I remember it was white. It was like a baby basket, I guess is that what they call them? Baby. It wasn't a cradle or baby beds like they have now. It was just a big wire basket. And I remember getting on my tiptoes and looking down into that to see you down there. And I guess that's when I saw your mouth open and used you as a penny bank.
According to my baby book, Mom wrote that she didn't realize it, but I was being underfed. She was not feeding me.
I didn't realize
enough.
that.
But it was several months, and I fussed, I guess, a lot as a baby.
You were little. Oh, you were tiny.
I was premature 3 weeks.
Yeah, you were little.
I did weigh 6 pounds and 1 ounce, but that was pretty little.
Yeah, I do remember that part of it. I don't know why I'm thinking of leaning up over you with patent leather shoes on. Could we afford patent leather shoes back?
I don't know.
But I see me looking up over that basket. Maybe there's this picture out.
So the first 4 of us, that would be Phyllis and then me, and then our brother Tommy was born in May of 1950, and then our little sister Lonetta Louise was born in October of 1951. And we were all born at that same maternity ward in the Wichita Hospital and brought home to Plainview, Kansas. We lived in an apartment that was really close to Boeing, and a lot of other Boeing employees lived there. Mom told us a story about when she had Lonetta. Here she had 3 babies at home and little ones at home. We were stair-step.
The 18 months apart.
17.
Was it 17?
Anyway, Mama tells a story that when Lonetta was born, Dad took her to the hospital, and of course she has 3 babies at home, 17 months apart. It's 17 months from Phyllis to me, 17 months from me to Tommy, and 17 months then from Tommy to Lonetta. So when she had these babies, it was at night, and there was another woman in the delivery room. And Dad and the husband of the other woman who was in the delivery room had stepped across the street to a cafe to have breakfast, middle of the night. Mama heard the nurses talking about twins. And Mama got in her head that she had had twins. And she said, I just wanted to go back to sleep and not wake up. She said, I just didn't know how I was going to deal with 3 toddlers and twin babies.
It could have been Daddy was a twin.
Could easily have been.
Easily have been that.
But it wasn't. So they brought Lonetta home to Plainview. Then it was about time, when it got time for Phyllis to go to grade school, and they didn't have kindergarten in Wichita schools at that time. So she would enter the 1st grade, and they took her to school. Mama took her to school and came home crying, and she said, I don't want my little girl to go to school where they don't even have chairs or desks or even textbooks for them to use. And so Mama said, I'm not happy. I don't want Phyllis here. So they made the decision that they would move to Cheney, Kansas, which is where Daddy had lived in his high school years and actually graduated from high school in 1941 from Cheney High School here in Cheney, Kansas. So we moved out here on Adams Street. And Phyllis doesn't remember anything about Adams Street.
I don't remember anything at Adams Street.
Here's one thing that I do remember about Adams Street. Our beds were on what I would call a back porch. Now, it might have been a bedroom, but I don't think so. They were bunk beds, and it was out on the back porch. And I remember our cousins, the Geislers from St. Louis, being here one time because Noni was with us. And I remember Noni and Phyllis and I, and probably Lonetta, were up on the top bunk. And all of a sudden, Tommy comes running in the room, and he's got a shotgun in his hand. And he's pointing it at us girls. Tommy couldn't have been 2.5, 3 years old. And he had this big old shotgun, and he had it pointed up at us. Of course, we started screaming and backing away from him. And Daddy came out there and saw what the commotion was, took the gun away from Tommy, and blistered him right there in front of us and gave him his first lesson on gun safety.